I wish that cough was fake.
I do too.
I just got over being sick. I was at the beach yesterday, like snot falling and a runny nose.
Yeah, I win. I was like throwing up all morning, and I don't feel good.
I wish we were lying. Let's do the show.
No, let's not.
No, come on. Let's talk about failing.
Okay.
If this is our worst episode,
we're gonna muff it.
I'm gonna sit up. That's what I'm gonna do.
I'm gonna get my toast.
Hi everybody. How's it going? My name's Michael.
And I'm Tim.
This is the TMI information show.
Something like that.
TMI art show. Wow.
I think this one's gonna be the TMI misinformation show.
Yeah, awesome.
Help me up, big guy.
Okay.
There you go.
Oh, sorry. I forget how light you are.
I'm a skinny white guy.
I wish we were joking. I literally just got over being sick. And there's something going around, and obviously you caught a bug or something.
It's probably that turkey I had last night.
And luckily, I think I'm through the runniness. It's just the coughing up now. Oh, this is lovely. And we could have just said not record, but
right.
We were looking at our subjects, and
we're devoted to our fans too.
Thank you. And we were talking about the subject of failing.
Yes.
And so we said, you know what? Talking about failing and being sick, maybe this is a perfect time to do it. So
why not?
The subject of failure or failing is, I suppose, let's just talk about finished pieces.
Sure.
I'll go back to sketchbook in a second. It usually deals with when you're done with the piece and you just don't like it. You hate it. You don't feel like you did anything right. You're just like, oh my God.
And
like,
we have all been there.
Yeah. And I'm jumping back to the sketchbook.
Mm-hmm.
That's not trying to put anyone down or discourage anybody, but I don't think because sometimes when you start that drawing and you're like, oh, I hate this. I think that's part of the bad drawings that you need to get out, as opposed to being part of what you would consider a failure. When we're talking about failure, we're talking about a completed piece.
Yes. And it's one of those pieces where you start off and it's kind of tricky, and then you get about halfway through and you're trying to fix it and it's not getting better. And at the end you just want to go and scribble the whole thing and forget about it.
Jumping on that, as a side note, this is your PA, public service announcement.
PSA.
PSA, thank you. Never scribble.
Yes.
I firmly do not believe in scribbling out your work. I'm like, come on, don't like it. You can do
Save it.
You can do nothing worse for your morale than taking a scribble and scribbling it out. That just defeats the purpose.
So the question is then, when you utterly fail, how do you respond to that? And go ahead.
Well, it's interesting because we are our own worst critic.
Mm-hmm.
Let's remember that. Tim's actually brought something.
Yeah,
today.
I did. Check this out. Excuse me.
Excuse me.
I know, right? So this is a little piece that I did earlier, back in May. I worked on it all semester, and I kind of had to rush it. Can you see it okay?
Yeah, let me.
Please do. Thank you. So I had to rush it, and it wasn't as refined as I thought it would be, and the whole time I'm doing it, it was exactly like I said earlier. I don't feel good about this. It's not getting better. This is terrible. Now, I showed it to other people like Michael, like my friends, like my fellow art students, and they're all like, "Oh wow, that looks really great. That's we love it." And really, this piece is kind of somewhere in the middle. It's not superb, but it's not terrible either. Sometimes failure happens because the piece that we've created doesn't match what we saw in our mind. And what I saw in my mind for this piece was something, a little cleaner, a little more contrasty, a little more detail-oriented, bit of sharper detail. And I didn't get that. But you know what? I can do it again, and I can get it better.
And also a little bit of backstory, because I was around when you started this, and I was kind of your
Yes, you pushed me in a few directions, which was good.
Yeah, and I was also your liability or whatever the person is that just makes sure that you're working your
Accountability partner.
accountability
yeah.
partner. That's another episode.
We'll get there.
So and what happened too is I felt really bad to start off. Remember you had all this detail done.
I did.
And your viewpoint was off. Your vanishing point was right now. Your vanishing point's off here somewhere.
Somewhere in my belly button.
You know,
this button on my shirt
is your vanishing,
point.
But here in the old drawing, it was right smack dab in the middle, and it was just unrealistic. Yeah. And so I mean, I know that
technically it was correct, but it was killing the composition, like you said.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't support your train station and everything else that you had, and so I know that you already had all this detail, and you really didn't want to lose it, but you did it anyway. So I think also doing that with your piece, you did it over again, and so maybe you might have been strained a bit, but I think another thing that would help is show it to your friends. Also show it to people that don't necessarily are doing what you're doing, and they'll be able to look at it. Again, we can recognize what's right. We all inherently know what we like. You know, Van Gogh or Michelangelo, I mean, those guys were famous because people liked what they were doing. So, you know, show the things even that you didn't think you liked, you know, to friends, and just kind of work from there. Don't I don't know. Don't think it's such a total failure.
Where'd it go?
What's right here?
How to get over there? All right. Because even this, you know, like you mentioned, this isn't a total failure. There's still merit to this. It's still a nice composition. You know, the train came out okay. And sometimes when we have that failure block, it keeps us from recognizing the good bits of this. And, you know, our friends can point that out. You can point out things about this that I may not have recognized. And once you have that conversation, you can kind of extrapolate those qualities and move forward and, you know, do that again at the next project. Or even, you know, you learn from what didn't work and fix that in the next project.
This quote comes from Mela Hoyt-Hayden. Thank you, Mela. You learn more from failing than you do from succeeding. Because if you were to just get it right, you're not going to learn anything. But if you fail, you learn something.
It's true.
So don't think of it too bad, you know, as failing. And also to kind of bring it up, because I feel like we're talking about failing. No, you're not failing.
You're learning.
Yeah, again, it's part of the this whole business of failure, you know, and like ultimate fail, you know, has been so like prominent within the last decade. I blame Super Smash Brothers. I'm just putting it out
really?
there.
All right.
Yeah, the failure, like when it would happen, I'm sure people were like, oh, like that. Ever since then, I heard fail all over the place. But don't be hard on yourself if you feel like you fail. It's okay to feel how you inherently and initially feel to something, but you're always learning, and don't stop doing it. So
you know, I love the quote that you brought up. And it actually reminds me of another quote I was going to bring up, but it's a bit redundant now. It's one from Meet the Robinsons, where they say, from failure, you learn. From success, not so much. If you haven't seen Meet the Robinsons, go see it. It's a great little gem of a Disney film. And the underlying theme of that whole film, which I think is a very good follow-up to from failure you learn. It's a Disney quote that they show at the end of the film, where Walt Disney says something to the effect of, "Around here, we don't stay in one place very long. We keep opening new doors and trying new things because we're curious. We keep moving forward and trying new things. And by trying new things, we make new discoveries." Or something like that.
yeah. And with that, we'd like to say thank you once again for tuning in while we're under the weather. Is it under?
Under, over.
Under, over. Yeah.
We're failing.
And it looks like the sun is coming out too, so it's like, oh, great. Where's my guitar?
I know, right? It's probably weeping somewhere.
George Harrison, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.